Alright, so we got Charlie, aka Moistcritikal, giving his opinion on the Faze reign and Grey's drama. And I'm expecting good things because Charlie, honestly, from the big four React drama farmer Andes of Twitch, has always given the best opinions. And the top four big drama farmer Andy React channels, I obviously mean Hassan, Asmongold, XQC, and Charlie. And Charlie by far always gives the best opinions, so this is gonna be interesting. I have no idea what his stance on this even is.
What happened with Rain? Oh, he had like a pseudo interview with Grace.
Pseudo interview.
Oh, I guess it was on this channel. Oh yeah, it was this one. And it did not go well at all.
True.
That whole thing was a disaster. That made everything even worse somehow. Yeah, Faze just continues to burn to the ground.
Good.
It just keeps getting worse and worse for Faze. This was just...
It's hilarious.
This was hard to sit through. There is no one in this situation that's looking good now.
True.
It's like so far off.
Rain looks like an idiot, and Grace just seems like a very, very spiteful and bad person.
Course at this point, like the whole discussion around Faze and the higher ups and the corporate suits that took over, it's getting fucking crazy. It was supposed to be like a clearing the air interview thing, but it went quickly off the rails and it
buried the hatchet. Yeah,
it ended with a big sad like blow up at the end. I think it's just very uncomfortable to sit through. It's brutal.
Yep.
I don't know why he would even post this. I really don't. This is something that should have just been buried legitimately. He doesn't look good. She doesn't look good. Faze doesn't look good. There is no one coming out on top of this.
True, but I do know why he posted it, because he's all about transparency. So yeah, he's gonna make everything public. The whole thing is happening because Faze Rain is leaking everything because of transparency. So it does make perfect sense that he does. It does make perfect 100% sense that he does post this.
The whole point should have been on like the actual Faze corporate suits, and now it's just way off course. Way off course. How did the drama between Rain and Grace even start? Because Faze signed Grace, and this was just another contentious point in the Faze decisions, since the OG founders don't really have any power at the company anymore.
Yep.
So they were upset, thinking that they were making more celebrity signings, and that ended up with Grace getting a lot of shit for being signed, and which made everything super muddy. I don't think all of the founders like hated Grace or anything, but then Grace defended herself on a stream.
Nah, it wasn't even private that everyone hated Grace. She kind of had nothing to do. Everyone just hated the fact that they are signing people who don't care. And there was a smaller thing that everyone ignored because it's boring, about the fact that they made a competition for her spot. But then the reality was, no one had a shot because she was already pre-signed because she was famous. You know? And that kind of rubbed everyone the wrong way. Because she got her position only because she was famous. There was actually no competition. Everyone who signed up for that competition to get into Faze had no shot because she was already pre-picked. And the competition just was like, oh, anyone can become a Faze member. Yeah, that's where also she got a lot of heat, and Rain leaked that. He said that she's gonna get hired no matter what, and maybe he didn't even know, but it's true. She got hired, and he completely called it, and then she came on a stream and said, yeah, the only reason why I was in that conversation was because of my fame in that. So people, well, it's not like people hated on her, it's the system. But she's kind of the face of what happened there, and that's why some people really did dislike her.
And then that made Rain get defensive in a video, which then made Grace get aggressive in a follow-up video, which then made Rain want to try and clear the air with this video, where it once again just got aggressive between the two of them. Like, it was just a complete fucking disaster.
True.
Do you think the video was acting? No, I don't think so. Like, there is actually nothing to gain. That'd be the stupidest, like, marketing play, or I don't know what the goal would be if it's all fake or acting.
The video was not. The video was not fake, as in this was the plan all along that this is going to be the end. But the video was fake in the sense that, yeah, the higher ups just told Grace, "This is where you bury the hatchet," and they most likely begged Rain on their knees to say, "Please bury the hatchet. Please make this all go away," and it didn't. You know, it was scripted to a degree, but that script fell through hard.
That would have actually no benefit at all to anybody.
And this was not planned
no
for sure.
The whole purpose of the OGs speaking out was supposed to be to put pressure on the Faze suits to finally start correcting the path that the company's gone down. But we have completely lost that thread now. That's not where we're at anymore. Now it's just like fighting between Faze.
Yeah.
Like members, as opposed to
It's good
the suits.
entertainment.
Rain didn't look bad at all.
He did.
I disagree. What? Like, they both looked bad here.
Yeah.
No.
Again, Rain, complete asshole, idiot. Grace, unlikable, fake, and vitriolic.
One comes out with a W here. Again, the point was supposed to be about the suits, but it ended up getting very personal with Grace herself, who did get aggressive after Rain made his video. Like, I don't think he looked good here.
Hell
She didn't
no.
look good either. And
Yep.
Faye certainly doesn't look good.
Yep.
She wouldn't accept his apology and ran away crying. How's that the takeaway you got? His apology was like, yeah, no, like, yeah, no, I understand, but I'm being logical, you're not being logical. Like I'm being logical, you're not being logical, you're not getting it. Like, he just kept making that point.
Well, that was at the end. I wonder if he watched the 20-minute video, right? He did watch it because he did apologize through it like a lot. It again, it's such an awkward thing to watch, but still, he did apologize, and that was at the end. The end he's speaking of, I don't think. Okay, let's listen to his full portrayal of that situation, but already it's not sounding good.
It's not like a real apology at all. And then Grace didn't help the situation at all either, because it didn't seem like she was even really willing to talk to Rain, like, on a personal level, because things were already
That's
so
true.
aggressive coming into it. That's what happened. How does bringing up Modern Warfare 2 lobbies and the hard R have anything to do with an apology to Grace? That has nothing to do with anything.
Okay, so he's talking about the very end, you know, the clip that we can see on Twitter, and that has the pretext because she goes on him. Well, you essentially this is the super short version. The end of that happens because she says, "Well, you hurt my feelings. You took it too far." And then Rain clapped back at her and said, "Well, you literally attacked me for my lowest moment in my life. I am way more offended than you," because it became like, who's the victim here type of conversation, you know? Like, if you want to play the victim card, essentially, Rain said, if you want to be the victim here, I can play the victim card there also. And that's where it got. And considering she has her own family issues with this, you know, she took it super personally there, and her storming out does make technically sense. Technically, if you accommodate for all of her past things also, but it doesn't make the situation right. So yeah, complete cluster. Like, understanding this, probably explaining this detail by detail is like a multiple over video
Thing. What are you talking about? That was in reference to the old tweets. Yeah, which is something I don't know why she'd bring up either. Again, because it was all just so aggressive coming into it. This was just this was a disaster from top to bottom. You think she'll actually leave Faze?
No.
No, he genuinely.
I think she's really. I think she would have already left Faze, by the way, the moment this video dropped. Maybe the higher ups are giving her more of a thing because, you know, it's a disaster if she leaves. But I don't think she's gonna leave Faze because of one simple reason: she doesn't have other options. This woman is completely burnt in Hollywood. She cannot get an acting position because of what happened. And she went into Faze. And her goal in life, or whatever that she herself stated, by the way, in this video, is to get rid of misogyny in gaming? You know, stuff like that. So it's not like a lot of organizations are gonna pick her up. Faze is literally her best shot. You could say like, oh, maybe OTK is gonna take you in. Yeah, Asmongold's video is 100% gonna be super simping for her. That I can already tell you for a fact because that's just the guy he is. But he's not gonna take her most likely in OTK because Grace has a history of going against sexual harassment and all bad things like that. And that's like the number one thing OTK does not want. Someone who actually is actively against misogyny and things like that. Because that's a brand risk for them. Imagine how much more there is to expose in OTK. And this woman could potentially expose it all if she's not happy with the situation. Because she is a bridge burner. She is 100% a bridge burner.
He apologized at the end, but she outright ignored it and insulted him. It's so crazy how that's the perception. Like, I think coming into it, he really wanted to clear the air, but she wasn't really ready for that. And then he got defensive again, because, like, when he chimes in, like, he even comes in and says, like, here, I'll just play a couple of moments. Like, I don't think this is a very genuine moment here. Because he says, like, you're just acting again, you're going acting mode.
Oh, but that's not a genuine moment to pick. If you want to pick that moment, you need to start 1 minute earlier before this whole thing started. Because he's showing the middle of the situation, and that's not a good look. He is showing the middle of the situation before it started. And the start actually explains a lot.
So that was my drug is like, what do you want?
And even in this, he calls her a bitch. Like, I don't understand. No one looks good.
No, he's calling her a bitch because they're playing the game. Oh, you're the bigger victim here because you got offended? Well, I'm the bigger victim here. That's the whole game that he's talking about. If you want to play a victim game, he is willing to play it. That's what he's saying.
Good here.
Like, picking a small clip out of everything that happened here is impossible almost. You need to watch all of this 100%, and then you can only understand through context of what's happening here. Because picking a random clip is just impossible for this to explain what's happening.
You want me to forever just like, who gives a fuck? Because it's like, you want to super victimize yourself for that? Okay, then I guess I'm hurt. How dare you? How dare you bring up the worst time in my life? I'm fucking hurt.
See?
How dare you? It's like, what are we talking about? I'm fucking hurt. I almost died. And I called you mid and you responded something that almost took my life? That almost left my mom without a son and support? See, I can play that fucking game all day.
I'm an actor too, bitch.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. And it's like, how could you let other people hurt your feelings? Do you not believe in yourself? Are you not a confident woman? You should be. You should be.
Yeah, and that part, by the way, the fact that then he does that, and he talks about, are you not confident, blah, 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 that means that wasn't, by the way, out of spite. That last part there completely saves it. So everything he said there is not out of spite. But she takes it out of spite. And if he didn't say that part, then it would have been 100% out of spite. You see, this conversation is insane.
It's a great thing. You should feel confident in yourself.
Am I
Fuck
not
all
a
that.
confident woman? You don't know me.
So then how is this hurting your feelings? If I called you mid, you should be like, fuck him. Who cares what I say?
And that's true.
See, like, I don't know how you think that's a genuine apology. This is like...
But this is not an apology. This is what you misunderstand, Moist. This is not currently being an apology. This is more like what he said, like the logical thing. Even though, again, no one's looking good here. No one is looking good.
Super hard to sit through. That's not like an apology. I think he went into this wanting to apologize and clear the air, but it just didn't go that way. This is not a genuine apology or anything. He did in the beginning, like, it seemed like wanted to do a genuine apology and things got super muddy.
Well, this is not the apology. If you want to contextualize in terms of, like, apologizing, this is the point where, you know what? None of us should be even mad about anything here. I was in the wrong, you were in the wrong. This is a bit harder to understand, but, you know, this is kind of that point if you want to put it like that. But she takes it like an attack because situations like this are very close to attacks.
But this is a terrible ending for both of them.
Yep.
And then she, of course, gets very upset and threatens to leave Faze and everything. It's brutal. It's brutal. Look before that, he genuinely said sorry a few minutes before that. Why are we moving the goalposts? You said at the very end he gave a genuine apology. I'm just showing the very end was the furthest thing from a genuine apology. As I just said earlier...
Well, the last 1 minute or the last 2 minutes, I think that's kind of up for the interpretation. What is the end?
It seemed like he tried to, like, actually apologize. But that's not how it ended.
Yeah,
What are you talking about? I
Well,
was just refuting the point that at the very end he gave a genuine apology. That's all I was refuting. Like I said, earlier it seemed like he really did.
that wasn't that wasn't an apology. That was bury the hatchet type of situation. That's it, you know. We both have our grievances, but then it went horribly wrong. Which I am happy for, by the way, because I'm loving this. This is entertainment.
Try. I don't know, like, I don't
And
know
don't
why we're
lie,
pretending
you also
things are
love this.
there that aren't. They both wasn't really listening to each other? No, absolutely not. But like I said, this video
Also
should just not have been posted. This is not a good look for anybody at all. Should have just been handled privately. Or if you wanted to try and make like a clearing the air video and it went well, then you post it, and then it's like a public W, but it went even worse than imaginable. Genuinely apologized before that a few minutes, but she kept criticizing him as a person and calling him sexist, so he got fed up and reacted the way. It's obvious to me. Brother, why are people just not even listening? You're like refusing to hear what I'm saying. All I was showing with the end of that is to refute the like 5 chatters who kept saying he genuinely apologized at the very end. All I was showing is that at the very end, that was not an apology. Him telling...
You know what? I considered the very end the last 3 milliseconds of a video, so I don't even understand why he's using the minute if the end is the last millisecond of the video.
Telling her how she
That's
should
a
feel
bad
and react,
argument.
and like going in this weird like gaslighting thing at the end is not the genuine apology you think it is. He did, as I said 10 times, did try and make a real apology earlier. But I don't think she really wanted to hear that and wanted to instead, like, talk to him in a different way. So neither one of them were really receptive to the whole situation. But like I said, it did seem like he tried earlier and it didn't work. I don't know why you're just refusing to listen to what I'm saying. The transparency is a W by Rain. But it's...
The transparency, though, is a little... Well, it's the most minorest thing ever, but, you know, I appreciate it. Without that, we would never have it. The transparency is kind of a small victory for him, you know. At least he's transparent. Hey, more transparent than the average esports organization, you know?
It's transparency for what? This doesn't further the goal of fixing Faze. Now it's turned into a dog pile and like a civil war between Grace supporters and Rain supporters, and now the suits just get to go back to the shadows. There's no pressure on the actual Faze brass. Now it's just public...
Well, there actually is. They're feeling more pressure now. Previously, it was just a bunch of people yelling into the void. Now everyone's eyes are actually on Faze, and they're not liking that, probably.
Pressure on Grace and Rain. Like, this didn't do anything to actually fix the org. It's worthless. It just completely lost the plot. Grace got personal, Rain got personal, and now it's just a battle between the two of them, so it's fucking worthless.
Is that it?
I'd love Faze to get back to its former glory.
I wouldn't. It's boring.
I make a lot of jokes about Faze and like some of the scummy shit over the years, but I really am very impressed with what Faze was able to do as a company. Like, reaching the mainstream is something very difficult for most gaming-centric brands.
Did they reach the mainstream?
Like, something very hard to do. So to see the state that it's in sucks. Like, it's not cool. Like, I'm not celebrating the death of Faze and the continued spiral. Did the OGs retire and let their company be handled by snakes? As I understand it, the founders ended up signing deals they didn't fully understand the scope of, which lost them control of the company. I don't think they...
A little bit about this. I have said it a million times already. If you think the YouTube game, the Twitch game, all of these deals are a joke, unless it actually becomes real business, then it's not a joke. Like, if you're getting sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends and you're a YouTuber and you have, like, I don't know, 10k subs, 20k subs, 100k subs, you don't even need to read the deal. You're not getting hosed. They will never risk getting you hosed because it's not real business. It's influencer business. You don't need to read the deal. In the real world, if you're reading a contract yourself and you're not a lawyer, you're gonna get yourself screwed. You're putting yourself in a bad position. Only in the influencer, YouTuber, Twitcher world, Do you read contracts yourself and you can actually make understand what's written in them? Because in reality, that doesn't happen.
Planned on losing control, but I also just don't know. I mean, Faze isn't dead yet, but it's certainly not looking good for the org. Even outside of, like, the internal drama here. It continues to just...
Is that it, though?
The founders
yeah,
of the
that's
picture
it
at all.
almost.
They have, like, a very small stake in the company at the moment. Like, they don't have...
Yeah, they as much as I understand, it's a publicly traded company. There's only one way if they how they lose control over the company, and that is losing 51% of the shares. That's it. They themselves made this happen. How? Like, they are fully responsible for this. No one tricked them. They sold their shares. Or were duped into selling their shares. But anyway, it's on them. That's true. In any case, this seems to be his full take. And I have to say, well, he didn't say anything wrong. The situation is an absolute hustle to explain. I do not agree on what he said about the ending. Because the ending is so different. If you take the last 1 minute of the ending... It's a completely different story than you take the last 2 minutes of the ending. Or the last 3 minutes, again. So yeah, there's a little bit about that. But in any case, this was the most mid-Charlie take I have ever heard now in my life. And, since I started looking into him more, I have heard a couple of... And this was weak. This was very weak. He did not take a side. He did not go in depth. He just was very on top of the water. He was gliding over the waves. He was afraid to get wet. I'm gonna say this. You could absolutely smell the fear right off him that he does not want to get in deep in this, because currently the tide can go either way. Maybe Rain says something stupid and everyone goes against him. Maybe Grace completely drops the ball and the world is against her. So picking a side here. Oh, Charlie's so afraid. My initial prediction for this was that all of the big boys are gonna just protect Grace. Asmongold is a given that he's gonna protect him. XQC, I'm actually not gonna look into what that idiot says because, dude, I don't wanna watch a 2-hour video about him stuttering about a 10-minute video going 15 times off track and still not understanding what he said at the end of the day. Hassan's probably not interested because it's not about himself, nor he can make him about himself, so he may not even actually speak on that. So we only are left with Moistcritikal and Asmongold. And Asmongold's gonna simp like there's no tomorrow, because it's a woman, and maybe she's gonna sleep with him if he protects her enough. Who honestly knows, right? In any case, well, interesting. And this situation's gonna go deeper.